Do you have a favourite photo? A while back I was talking to a friend about how many photos I had and he asked me that question. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. These days, everyone's got a camera. We all carry them as part of our phones. And everywhere I look when I'm out, I see people taking photos. I've loved photos since I was a kid. My mum and dad had 3 suitcases full of them. Mum had the nickname Polaroid Pearl because in the 60s she always had a Polaroid camera in her hand. When I was still at home, Mum would get the suitcases out and we'd sit and go through them all, and she'd tell me the stories about the majority of them. It was like having a social history evening. She'd tell me stories about where the photos were taken, who was in them, when it was, why they'd taken the photo and what they'd been doing. This continued even after I'd got married. We'd go back to visit and she'd get the cases out and look through them again, and this was an ongoing event. Did you used to do the same thing? Did you have evenings where you'd go through your family photos and share stories? Leave a comment below and let me know if you did, or if you still do. And could you hit that button while you're at it? In 1993 I borrowed the suitcases of photos, took them home with me and spent almost a month videoing them to make a film of all the photos. When I'd done that, I created a soundtrack of songs of the 50s and 60s to go with the film and dubbed it onto it. Early in the new year, I presented my mum and dad with the video. They were over the moon, and I'm so glad I did it because in May of that year, my dad passed away suddenly. It was only after he'd died that I was told that whenever anybody came to see them, he'd put the video in and show them the photos to whoever it was. So I'm so pleased that I did that. When my mum died in 1997, the only thing I wanted of my mum and dad's were the suitcases of photos, and I still have them today. So as well as my own, I have all of theirs too. And it's not just those physical photos I have. I have photos on hard drives of all the photos I've taken since I first bought a digital camera in the early 2000s. Am I the only one who rarely prints off any of them? Are you the same as me, or do you print off most of yours? Let me know down there, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, because I want you in my gang. When it came to trying to decide which was my favourite photo of the many that I have, it was a really hard choice to make. With such a vast array of photos to choose from, I needed to sort them into sections, because not only do I have photos of my friends and family, I like to take photos of landscapes and places that I've been to. I'm very much your point and shoot kind of photographer, so my photos aren't anything special to look at, but I still like looking at them. I also like to take photos when we go to different events, so I've got a huge amount of photos of old cars, old lorries and flowers and gardens and such like. But in the end, I chose this photo. It's my mum and me on the night of my 21st birthday. The reason I chose it was because it was my mum. Not only because I loved her dearly, but she was the one who really started off my obsession with photos. However, there are so many that I love, particularly the ones of my sons. And so it's hard to narrow them down to just that one. It seems fitting though that I choose a photo with me and my mum together. Because of her, I've had a lifelong love of photos, particularly old ones. Have you ever thought about what your favourite photo is? You're welcome to post it on my Facebook group and tell me the story surrounding it. Who knows? You could even see it in this blog if you don't mind me sharing it. I've put a link to the group below. And click up there if you'd like to hear a story about my mum embarrassing me big time when I was a little boy.